Good afternoon, boys and girls. This is Retro Star, and I'm here to show you the second barrel of my games. As we have right here, we have the famous, and I'm sure everyone knows this game. This is Simon's Quest from our great and notorious Konami. Castlevania 2. Awesome game, I have to add. I remember when I first played this game, actually my friend Corey had actually purchased this game before I did, For a while it became a contest, after we all got our NES games, just to see, okay, who can purchase the games first. And anytime he's always purchased the game first, it was always known that he would had the game, because he would always come to our door and brag and boast about his new game. So, not to say that anything's wrong with that. It's just, more games I can play. How I thought about it is it's just more games for me to play. And it didn't matter where it was my game or his game. The only thing that I want to do is play it. So this was one of the games he brought over to my house. And I was actually ready and apt to see this game, and definitely was impressed by this game. Great and notorious, absolutely great musical score, memorable and nostalgic musical score, I have to add. Just so many things in this game that I could talk about that was just totally awesome, besides the awesome gameplay and the awesome music of Simon's Quest. I have to definitely say it was a challenging game for me as a kid. Very challenging and definitely memorable tunes. I would say probably the most nostalgic thing about this is the music, and it's definitely the characters and the gameplay of this game. Actually very memorable game, I have to add. I don't have the first one yet. I am actually still looking for the original Castlevania, and Castlevania 1 was another one that I liked. And also that one actually had a great musical score as well. And I will be, once I pick these things up, I will do a review of a recap of any new game that I purchase. And you'll be able to see new additions to my collection. But at least I have Simon Quest, Castlevania 2 in my collection, and I'm very proud of that. Just incredible game. What more can I say about this game? It's incredible, nostalgic, and just honored to have it in my Konami collection. Like I said before, Konami was just one of the companies back then that was just great time and time again, along with my favorite company, one of my favorite companies of all time, Capcom. Konami was just great, not only in just the NES arena, but also great in the arcade arena as well. So, Simon's Quest, ladies and gentlemen, Castlevania 2, and we're gonna move on from this. Another game that I have here with me, also a nice, awesome, and nostalgic gem, I have to add. I'm sure everybody has heard of this. This is actually a really, funny title, I would have to say. Being that 2010 was 3 years ago. I actually played this game back in 1990. Great titles in 1990. Almost every great title there is was made almost in 1990, but this was a 1990 title, just letting us know what 2010 has in store for us. And too bad I didn't get a chance to meet Ken, who looks like some kind of cyber superhero from the future, 2010, but great. Besides all of the joke and antics of what I'm doing here, is great game. I love Street Fighter 2010. Even though this is a little off from The series you all know is the Street Fighter series, the beat 'em up, the fighting game. Totally not like that at all. Okay, this is a regular platformer game. On your, you know, let's say you're in the journey on a quest. I would definitely have to say this is a great and nostalgic cartridge. I played the crap out of this game. Musical score, totally excellent. Just awesome musical score, I have to add. I love the music in this game. As you can see, with the colorful backdrops, we can all know and see that this is a Capcom title. Yes, Capcom is the best. And any title that has Capcom on it, you know the gameplay and the music is kick-ass. Because Capcom is a kick-ass game company back then, definitely. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I happen to love the art on this, actually. You know what I'm saying? They definitely came up from the terrible Mega Man box art to where Mega Man looked like this 40-year-old midget with a gun, which Mega Man does not have, apparently, in the game. But I just happen to like this. This is pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? The guy doesn't look like Ken at all, but you know, it is very cool. This is definitely a game that I would definitely pick up at the store. And matter of fact, I did pick this up from the store just by looking at this. I picked it up from Electronics Boutique back in 1990 at the mall. I happened to get this game on sale for like $29 at the time. Let me tell you something. $30 at the time was cheap for a game. Because any game, you know, games back then plummeted up to about maybe $60 to $70 at the most. And anytime we found a game that was $29 or even $30, $34, that's a steal. So I definitely got this game as a kid back in the days. Now, actually, this copy is not my original copy, unfortunately. This was a gift from, you know, my boyfriend Rudy Chavez. Again, thank you, sweetie, for purchasing this awesome Capcom gem here, Street Fighter 2010. Great game. Love this game. Just everything about this game is just great. You know what I'm saying? Everything. So I'm awesome and honored to have this in my collection. And probably later might do a run in this, maybe, you know what I'm saying, just for nostalgic sake, or maybe just a plain review and play for fun and just review all of the great things about this game. So stay tuned for that. So I'm gonna go ahead on, and this is Street Fighter, and look out for our future of 2010. We're going to have dragons, and we're going to wear metal costumes and defeat all of the evil aliens from the dead. 2010 coming at you. Alright, let's move on. How about this for your eyes? I remember in my last video, I actually reviewed and showed the original 1989 title, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, this game is totally different. When this game came out, I was like, finally I can play the arcade on my console at home. Okay? Even though the graphics are not going to be as good as the arcade. Let's just be real, okay? Let's just be real. We know it's not going to be like the arcade, but you know what? I wanted something to at least come close to it, or at least give me the same feel that I did. Now, this game is totally different. Totally awesome title this is. I remember back in 1990, Christmas Eve, my mom allowed us on Christmas Eve to open one game, or open one present. And this happened to be the main one that we opened on Christmas Eve. Wow. When I opened this, the entire house went crazy. I went crazy. My sister went crazy. My brother went crazy. We was like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. We remember going to the arcade every weekend to play this great game. And now we actually have it to play at home. So it was a great time. We got excited. We grabbed the controllers. And hey, Christmas Eve, you know what I'm saying? It's like Christmas Day. We was battling Bebop and Rocksteady and all of the great characters. This title was actually on point. Missing, you know what I'm saying, a lot of the things that the other title was missing. This one made up for all of that. All of the memorable characters, Bebop, Rocksteady, even Krang, all of our enemies, the Foot Clan that we know on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series, cartoon series, was definitely on here. Everything was on point. The stages was on point. Everything was just right where we wanted to be. Right at home, and our Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan childhood was right there where we wanted it to be. And I have to tell you, even though graphically it's not going to be like as good as the arcade, this game was kick-ass. Lots of fun with this. Playing with my sister, even though you can just play 2 turtles instead of 4, you know, you only expect some things from the NES, but 4, I mean 2, me and my brother and my sister killed this game. I mean, night and day. Christmas was the next morning. Before that, we stayed up almost all night Christmas Eve playing Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. It was just a happy time. A lovely time this was. And I believe we end up finishing this game even on the same night after actually playing it. You know what I mean? Now, of course, we had to go to bed and await all of the other great things that awaited me on that day, like my Sega Genesis. Again, I even got a Sega Genesis on the same day that I got this game. This game, Super Mario Bros. 3, Sega Genesis, it's like, wow. 1990 just went out with a bang, I have to definitely say. And with Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, how can you go wrong? Incredible game. This was also a Ultra Games title too. All of your tunes that you heard in the arcade game is right here. Even though it's an 8-bit version of it, it still sounds like home. When you're playing the arcade, it still sounds at home. Everything's right at home from when we were popping in the arcade machines and battling bad guys in the arcades with our coin operated machines. Great, can't go wrong with this. Great title. So if you don't have this game, go ahead and pick this game up, because this is probably one of the best Ninja Turtles title on a console of all time, period. Great game. Definitely made up for that last game that they had. This one was definitely a makeup, so I was happy to have it. Alrighty, great times with Ultra and Konami's Ninja Turtles 2 arcade game. It's not getting any better than this. Fun times. Let's move on. Alright, here we got here. I'm pretty sure this will be recognizable to a lot of people. This is what I see a black box title. This is a original system launch title. This is actually Hogan's Alley. And as you can see, if you look a little closer, it has the symbol to where we can use our light gun series we can actually use our zapper in this game to hose down the bad guys. Incredible game. Okay, let's... Actually, you know, this was a great title. Fun. If you definitely want to have something else that you can play with your zapper, this is actually a great and incredible game. You know, when you get bored of shooting ducks, this is a game you ought to pull out and just duke it out with these bad guys and test your skills, ladies and gentlemen. With Hogan's Alley, test your skills. Great game, fun game. I had lots of fun with this. For the brief time that I did play it, I did have lots of fun. This is an original release, so to say, a Nintendo made and manufactured game here. Just great times if you want to shoot up something with your zapper. Hogan's Alley is for you. Alright, pretty much that's all I have to say about Hogan's Alley. We can go ahead on and move on from this fun title. Here we go. Now this right here, all of you arcade goers, stand up. Stand up straight. How many people has played this awesome and nostalgic gem here in the arcade? I know my hand is going up. Karate Champ is one of the first fighting games I've ever played. I started with Karate Champ. Before there was Street Fighter, even the original Street Fighter from Capcom, Street Fighter 2 and all those other games, you got Karate Champ. Very nostalgic gem. This is something that would definitely take you all the way back to the early 80s. I believe 1985, maybe 84. Data East arcade hit. One of the number one arcade hits. Data East, notorious for the arcade arena in the early 80s time. But this was the very first fighting game I've ever played. And just incredible. Nostalgic game this is. I remember going to the arcade and popping in my quarters to play this awesome game here. Just incredible. And I definitely have to say, you know, me being a fan of the arcade, this is not a bad port from the arcade at all. That's clean on the back, awesome. I actually picked this game up from Are You Game, the retro store that I go to now. Great store. They have some of everything that you'll look for. But anyways, this title here was actually a great from the arcade. I think this is actually decent. Nostalgic music. I used to love the title screen music, like when you let it play automatically. Very nostalgic. I used to like for it to play over and over again. Just great nostalgic music. A pretty simple, you know, hit and tap type of deal, to where, you know what I'm saying, tournament style fighter. So where you hit, you get points, and you win according to what points you get. If you get the first hit, the second hit, how many ever points that you score on the opposing player is pretty much what sets you aside as the winner. But so this is actually a pretty simple fighting game, but to me, it's one of the first fighting games that there was ever in the arcades before all of our notorious fighter legends, you know, Street Fighter, Tekken, all of those other guys. You had Karate Champ. Karate Champ was there to entertain you and to give you what you need when you want to play a fighting game. This is where I started at, in the fighting game arena. Karate Champ from Data East. Cannot go wrong with that. Pick this game up for nostalgic. Incredible game. Nostalgic game, and just awesome. I loved Karate Champ as a kid. So, you know, get it if you don't have it. Alright, let's move on. I know a lot of people's gonna recognize this shoot 'em up game here. This shoot 'em up game goes by the name Gyrus. Gyrus from Ultra. There's like it's got to be like a few versions of this game. I believe this game was actually on Atari X at one time. There's actually a few versions. The game that I played, I believe I played this in the arcade, Gyrus. It's sort of got a very unique type of stroll game to where you can move up and around the screen, which I thought was very handy when it comes to trying to break world records and get, you know, dodging bullets and definitely maneuvering around all the bullets and enemies that's shooting at you was a pretty unique way to be able to max out your score. You know, Gyrus was very fun. I played Gyrus in the arcades. I didn't get a chance to play this on Atari when it was out, but definitely I've definitely played this version from Ultra. Great, incredible game. I definitely have to add that I actually enjoy the NES version better than the arcade version of this game. Yeah, as funny as it may seem, this game is actually kick-ass on the NES. Very fun title. I didn't get a chance to actually, as a kid, play through the entire game. I think I actually got to stage 19. For some reason I wasn't able to get beyond that. You know, this is actually not a hard game. It's not very hard. It's a pretty simple shoot 'em up game. It just has a lot of stages that you go through, and each time that you proceed through the stages, it gets harder and harder and harder and harder. Incredible, you know, incredible title. And definitely the music score is definitely out of this world music score. I love the music in this game. Very Konami-ish type of deal. Of course, Ultra. Being having ties with Konami, it's got to have the most awesome and nostalgic gameplay there is. This is just one of the shoot 'em up games that is very famous in the arcade arena. But I definitely have to say, enjoyable game on the NES. If you don't have this in your NES collection, it shouldn't be too hard to find. It's easy to find. Pretty much, it's gonna cost you maybe about $7 or $8 though. But you definitely know when you pop this in and play it, it's definitely worth the $78 that you're going to be shelling out for this game. Definitely worth it. You know, give it a try. If you love shoot 'em ups, it's a great game to try. And this is by Ultra. Okay. Gyrus by Ultra. Let's move a little along here. Alright. Here's a game that's recognizable to all of you 80s people who has watched the movie RoboCop back in the 80s. I definitely was a fan of RoboCop as a kid. The movie. Definitely loved the RoboCop movie back in the days. Now, as for the game is decent. Not the most incredible game there is, though. But it's a decent game. You know, I was a fan of the movie. I loved RoboCop the movie. The game was pretty decent. I'd have to add the music. Seemed like they tried their best to give you the same theme song as the movie, and they did an okay job with that. I definitely say. Well, you know, the game is not the most incredible game there is, but it's still fun and it's acceptable for RoboCop. I think I would definitely say. Data East again. Oh wow, we're just having a ball with all these Data East titles here. This is definitely a Data East title. Part man, part all game. Oh, part man, part machine, all game. Definitely. We definitely have to add that. But you know, not a bad title. Not a bad title. You know, I want to say this is an incredible title, but this is not a bad title. I actually had fun with this as a kid. You know, running around, shooting up bad guys that are running at you. It's just, you know, a lot of frustrating things in this game, I have to add. I don't want to go into all the frustrating things, which I'm sure all you guys know about that with all the reviews that you get from this game. They could probably tell you. I probably will review this game later on, while I'm playing and enjoying it, and give you my opinion and my review live. You know, once I get done with all of these videos. So, RoboCop by Data East, guys. Can't go wrong with that. Pick it up. It costs you about maybe $5 at the most. And I definitely think if you're collectors, it's definitely something that any 80s fan of the movie would want to have in their collection. Definitely. Alright, let's move on. Here's a strange title. I don't know. A lot of you probably not going to know what this title is. So let's zoom in on this. This is... okay, let's zoom in. This is Kung Fu Heroes from Culture Brain. Never heard of it. This is probably maybe the first and only title that I even have from Culture Brain at all. I would definitely have to say, just by looking at the picture is very cute, I would have to add. Very Japanese, I would definitely have to say. As a kid, you know, I rented this game back in the days from Rent a Movie. And I would definitely have to say, when I popped the game in, at first, my first impression of this game was not good. The guys that you play had like huge heads. They have like really huge heads, and they were big and bulky looking, and I'm like, why do they look so crazy? And they sort of actually move around like they were constipated or something. And I was just really annoyed by the funny character looks. But as I got a chance to play this game and found out how to play this game and the mechanics, I actually started to get attached to this game. I actually started to get attached to this game here. My phone ringing again. But this game is actually fun. It's a two-player game. It's actually 2 players. A 2-player game, and actually, when you do find out how to play this game, it's actually pretty fun. You actually have to take out all of the bad guys, and I believe you're on some kind of time clock or something like that. And I forget how this goes, but I remember once I got a chance to learn how to play, and I played with a friend, it was actually pretty fun. I actually started to like this game, and I started to really, really play it more and more and more and more. Besides the character having big heads and look like they're actually needing to go on a diet because they were like huge and fat. You know what I'm saying? They were like had big huge heads and big huge, you know, hands. I thought they were funny looking, but this is actually a pretty good title. This is actually a pretty good and fun title here, so don't get me wrong. So all the people that do like this game and have heard of this game, actually fun. I had a lot of fun with this, you know. I actually picked this up at a retro store. I happened to stroll by on the shelves and say, hey, I remember this game. And just because I remembered it and it was very nostalgic as a kid, I picked it up. It's only $3, you know, not very heavily expensive. But, you know, definitely great times when you play with a friend. So this is Kung Fu Heroes from Culture Brain. Let's move on. Alright, here's a memorable title here from our notorious company, SNK, arcade company there, our Neo Geo company. Iron Tank, great title. I love Iron Tank. Iron Tank is actually, for some reason, reminds me of two different games. It's like a toss between Ikari Warriors and, yes, Konami's Jackal. To me, this game reminds me of both of those games. It's definitely got the soundtrack is definitely sound very very Konami-ish type of music in this game. It's very Konami-ish, very great and memorable title. This game is actually pretty not hard. It's pretty hard. I wouldn't say it's the hardest title there is. But let's say, you know, I did end up finishing this game. Very, very awesome game. You're like this little tank that's moving around and going up, and you're just pretty much blowing up everything. It definitely reminds me of Jackal. And even the bosses that you play with, you know, the boss tanks that you run into, definitely reminds you of that Jackal game. Every time I think of this game, I think of Jackal. But great musical score. Awesome musical score this is. Yeah. I gotta, scrape that off. But, great, awesome, and nostalgic game this is. Iron Tank by SNK. Great title. Alright, let's move along. Alright, here's one that is probably one of the first, maybe the first 5 NES games I've ever played. This is Tecmo's Solomon's Key. Don't know if all you remember this title from 1987. I definitely remember this title. This is actually one of the titles that my friend Tamara bought over along with, you know, our great Kid Icarus game. She bought Kid Icarus and then she bought this game. I have to definitely tell you, when I seen this game for the first time, I was like, ick. What is this game? As I said before in my previous video, I wasn't the hugest puzzle fanatic at all. I wasn't into puzzle games as a kid. I wasn't a huge fan of puzzle games as a kid. So at first, when I seen this game, I did not like it. I hated it at first. As I started to play this again, as I started to play this more and more, I started to actually liking it. Once I got a chance to learn how to play, it is definitely a puzzle game, in a different format, not in the same format as Tetris or what you call that game, Dr. Mario, but in another sense, in a different form. It's definitely a title in another title, but a puzzle game in a different form. I believe this game has at least 100 stages. I think I played up to stage 40 in this game. I couldn't for some reason get any further than stage 40 in this game. This game got, I believe, a grand total of 100 stages. Very challenging game, I have to add. It sort of forces you to use your head very quickly, I have to add. I would definitely have to say, if you are trying to better your skills and sharpen your mind, this is the title for you. Like right now, they got Brain Age to where you can, you can better your brain skills and mechanics. Let me tell you something. There is no better way to exercise your brain than to bring out a puzzle game, Dr. Mario, Tetris, or even Solomon's Key. This game will definitely challenge your skills, your thinking skills, and challenge your mind. This will give you a run for your money. As you proceed in this game, things get just a little bit more difficult, then a lot more difficult. You have to challenge your mind and challenge your brain along with your gaming skills. This will challenge you. So if you're looking for a workout, learn how to do a no death in this. And you know what? Hey, you know what? You got my vote as being one of the greatest game players of all time, because this is challenging. Definitely. So you know what? Beyond all of the dislikes that I had as a kid at first, I actually do like this title. I think it's a great title for puzzle fanatics who love puzzle games. This would be a great title for you to have. Awesome musical score. The only thing I may complain about is the music only changes a few times. That same music that you're going to hear in the first stage, you're going to hear it for a few stages. It'll change up on you every now and then, but then it'll go back to that same melody again, which is the melody, you know, actually, I believe I just played that melody not too long ago. But great melody, great nostalgic and catchy melody. Beyond that, you'll probably after playing this game for a long time, you're probably not going to even notice the melody in that game, because this game will definitely challenge your brain. Tecmo Solomon's Key. Can't go wrong with this. Tecmo, being the same people that brought us the incredible Ninja Gaiden, was now bringing us before Ninja Gaiden ever hit the scene in 1989. Solomon's Key came to us in 1987. Good way to start out the NES craze with this infamous game. Alright, how about let's move on. Alright, here we go. Something that every NES player has recognized. This demon here. This is one demon of a game, I have to say. This is actually Hudson Soft's Adventure Island, formerly known as Wonder Boy. I don't know if a lot of you ever known that. For a long time I didn't know it. Wonder Boy is the same game that we all know coming to the NES as Adventure Island. So let's get into the review of this game. This bad boy here has brought me a lot of joy as a kid. I remember this being one of the first games that I've rented at Blockbuster. I just happen to like the colorful backdrops and all of the prehistoric antics, and I love prehistoric stuff. So, you know, this was a game that I had to try. But you know what? I definitely have to say, this game kicked ass. This game right here kicked ass. And not just kicked ass as far as being a good game. This game will kick your ass, period. Very challenging game. Very tough game here. Definitely love the musical score in this game. Awesome musical score, I have to add. Especially the fairy, especially the fairy theme, when you become invisible and you have the fairy on top of your head. I absolutely love that theme. Matter of fact, I did a video based on that theme as the music in my video for Super Adventure Island. But it's basically for all of the people that loved the music. The fairy theme was actually dedicated to the fans of the fairy theme. So if you want to check that out on my channel, you know, Retro Star channel, go ahead and check that out. You know, if you love that infamous fairy theme music. The boss theme in this is actually pretty scary. I remember when I heard the boss theme, I know, oh, here we go. The only thing I can complain about in this game is the boss. It seems like you fight the same boss over and over again. Over and over again. The only thing that might change, it might get a little harder as you proceed through this game, but the boss never changes. I actually did play through this as an adult. As a kid, I could not play through this brutal game at all. I remember getting very frustrated with this game. I remember one of the stages to where you're doing nothing but jumping and jumping and jumping, and it's like there was one part where I just continuously fell in the pit. You have to pull back, gain your speed to even get a chance to make it on the other side. As a kid, you know what? I was like, forget about it. I'm not going to endure this punishment anymore. Adventure Island was very tough for me as a kid. You know, as an adult, I was able to finish it, but As a kid, very frustrating for me. But nostalgic. Very fun game. I was able to, I've had this game for a while, for a few years. I picked this up in the play and tray. It's pretty clean, besides the yellowing on the top and that little, I don't know what the hell that is. Some kind of paint. I have to get that off with something. But it's in pretty good condition, besides the yellowing, from the aging that it's going through. But actually pretty good, definitely a good title here. So if you're a fan of this franchise, hey, pick it up. I haven't got a hold of 2 or 3 yet. I'm looking to get a hold of those titles. And once I get a hold of all of these great titles, I will do an update of my collection. So, Hudson Soft's Adventure Island will kick your ass. And it did, and it kicked my ass all over the place as a kid. But, great and nostalgic game. Let's move on. Alright, here's a title that everybody recognizes. Yes, it is Snake's Revenge. This is the sequel to the great and incredible Metal Gear. If you do not know that, you know now. Snake's Revenge is the incredible sequel to that game, Metal Gear. Wow. I have a lot to say about Metal Gear. Snake's Revenge. Great title. Metal Gear being probably the all-time great, one of the best from Ultra games. This is actually the sequel to that game. And I would have to definitely say incredible as well. As you can see, the graphics seem like it's a lot of improvement on the graphics in this game. Even the music has changed a little bit. We still have that same alert whenever you're being spotted by the soldiers. Hasn't changed much, but you still have your great and nostalgic music, like from the first game. Just incredible times. I would have to add, and I remember playing this game day and night, actually renting this game when it first came out. I don't remember if I finished this or not. I believe I did finish this. I believe I did. But musical score is off the chain great. Turn this to the back, very clean. I got this actually got this game from the flea market for a great price. Actually came with the manual and everything. Very proud to have that. Very proud to have the manual that comes with it. And just a very good and nostalgic gem. This is just a great game. Okay. Alrighty, so if you don't have this in your collection, go on and get yourself this Snake's Revenge from Ultra Games. Great, Ultra Games being the maker of this. Great title, great music, everything about this that was great about the first one is in this cartridge. Besides the beefed up graphics, the incredible gameplay. Everything that's great about this. Is not much to say. Definitely just great. Alright, let's move on. Okay, the title we got here. I'm not sure if anybody recognizes this. This is Time Lord from Milton Bradley. I would definitely have to say an enjoyable game here. I didn't get a lot of play on this as a kid, but I definitely have to say what I did play of this game is actually really great. Really great, from Milton Bradley. It's actually pretty clean on the back. It's got something on the front there. I picked this up from the flea market as well for $3. Great title to own in my collection. Great and incredible musical score. Definitely something that you want to have in your collection. Not too much to say about it because I didn't play this that much, but great, nostalgic, and awesome game. Alright, let's move on. Alright, let's see. We got another Milton Bradley title here, and this happens to be Abadox. I remember mentioning this game along with my other titles in my other video. This game being very tough, and it actually reminding you of the incredible Section Z from Capcom. This game is actually really good. Really good. It's funny to see that name on a game, but I would definitely say this is actually a great game. Very tough game though. This is probably the toss between, I would say, Section Z and Light Force. Definitely being a great game, just like Light Force has incredible boss fights. Has the enemies. The enemy seems to remind you of the enemies in Light Force and in Section Z. Very tough, like Section Z. Probably more tough than Section Z that I even mentioned the last time. But great musical score. The musical score is awesome. A great side-scrolling shooter game here. You know, if you don't have this in collection, go get it. It's pretty cheap. I got it from Are You Game for $3. Incredible game. Definitely incredible. I didn't play through this, but you know, I'm probably going to in the future attempt to maybe do a no death run in this, because this is a tough game. So I think that, you know, I'll always one other person to challenge my skills. There is no game, I would definitely say, not being boastful or conceited or anything, but there's no game too tough for me to play. I would definitely say I will take on the toughest of the toughest game and do a no death run in it. I have no fear. You know what I'm saying? I was like this as a kid. You know what I mean? I will stay there in front of my TV for as long as I have to until the game is beaten. As a kid, that's how I was. If I set out to beat a game, I'm going to beat the crap out of that game if it kills me. But Abadox will definitely get some play, and you will see a review or no death run in this incredible game. Alright, let's move on. Here's a great and nostalgic title. This is Acclaim. Great Acclaim Entertainment Incorporated. Tiger Healy's Acclaim. I know a lot of you may recognize Tiger Healy. This is actually a game that I just picked up not too long ago from Are You Game. It was actually surprisingly, you know, I picked it up for $3.99. Great, incredible title. Shooter. I didn't get a chance to play this much as a kid. I didn't get a chance to play this much as a kid, but this is definitely a great shoot 'em up game. I may add. I think I played this briefly. A friend of mine brought this game over to my house, and we were able to, you know, play this for a little bit for the time that she had to visit. She brought this game over. We played this game, and it's incredible. Incredible musical score, sort of like an overhead, sort of vertical type of stroll of this game. Very reminds me of, Konami's 1942 for some, not Konami, but Capcom 1942 for some reason. I don't know why it reminds me of that game, but when I look at that game, I think of 1942 from Capcom. But still a great game. Pretty, not too difficult. Pretty good vertical stroller game. You know, I didn't get a chance to really play it much, but you know, definitely nostalgic. I had to pick that up, you know, just for nostalgic's sake. But incredible game. We'll probably do a review or something in this, or no death run in this. Definitely a game to have if you're a shooter fan. Alright, let's move right along. Not sure if any of you remembers this game. This is Bandai's Rocketeer. I'm even wondering if anybody remembers that cheesy movie that came out in, I believe, I don't know, was it the 80s? Might have been the 80s. I think in the late 80s. The cheesy ass movie that came out. I believe Disney's Rocketeer. I remember watching that movie as a kid. It was not great for me. I did not like the movie at all. This game, on the other half, I remember going out to the rental store and renting this game. And I seem to like the game a little bit more than the movie, even though the game's are kind of just okay, I definitely say. Memorable musical score on this game. Memorable musical score, but it's pretty much a very simple side stroller type of deal, to where you can actually fly. You know, certain parts of the game you can fly, but you're just going around hitting guys, they're shooting at you. Pretty bland, pretty simple, pretty plain. Nothing great about this game, but it's an okay game. It was better than the damn movie, I definitely would say. And very nostalgic. So that's why I went ahead and pick this game up, because it's a nostalgic game. This is actually one that I actually recently picked up from Arcade Game. It cost me no more than about $4. You know, this actually is in good condition. Look at it. It's the label is definitely looks like new, and well, besides the back, you know, somebody wrote on the back. I have to definitely get that off. But other than that, great condition this game is in, and just the game, I have to say, review-wise, is just okay. The music would change every now and then, not so much, but you know what I'm saying. But still, okay title, better than the movie. And actually, this game is from Bandai, a very huge and notorious company nowadays. That's bringing us all the great games and toys today. But you know, okay title, not great, okay. So let's move along. Here's a very noticeable game, I may add. I don't know if any people know this game. This is 3D World Runner. This is probably one of the few titles that I've played on my NES. Probably one of the first, maybe the fourth game that I played on the NES. Wow, excuse me. This is a great game, I have to add. Besides the lame cover, it looks like it, wow. It looks like somebody has seriously ruined the label. Because this actually game is made from Acclaim. Another Acclaim title. But actually, great title this is. I remember playing this as a kid. I actually went over to my cousin's house to play this game. He had this game. And he's always told me that this game was stupid. But, you know, when he put it in, I was very, very pleased. It's a very awesome sort of vertical strolling game. Definitely a vertical strolling game this is. And the thing of it is you pretty much running through different worlds. That's why it's called 3D World Runner. And the cool thing about this feature, it actually comes with 3D glasses. This back in the 80s, they had people attempting 3D. And I have to tell you, playing this game in 3D wasn't bad at all. I remember having the glasses and playing this game in 3D. It's actually pretty cool, you know? Yes, definitely pretty cool. So you're this guy, you're running through different worlds. I don't think, the only complaint I have in this, the music stays the same through the entire game, pretty much. The music doesn't change, but the stages change. The colors and the backdrops and the graphics, they do change as you proceed in this game. I believe this game has a total of 8 stages. I was able to play through this as a kid. It has a total of 8 stages. Not very challenging game though. I would have to say this game is challenging. There's going to get a time where you are jumping these pits. These pits are going to be so wide. There's going to be like little bouncy things where you can spring up. But if you're not mashing the precise buttons, you will fall. This game gets so brutal as you get up into this game. The gaps that you're jumping over in this game gets so completely wide to where you're going to have trouble for the longest time even getting on the other side. You're going to have to, while you're in midair, find the springs or whatever those little things that you bounce on, that you're going to have to bounce on in order to get from one side to the other. You're going to have to find out which, in midair, you're going to have to find out which one that you have to go to. You're going to have one on each side. You're going to have one on the left side. You're going to have them on the right side. And you got to figure out, and sometimes you're not going to have them, you're going to look on the side and it's not going to be one available. So what happens if you turn on the left side and there's no spring? You die. So if you don't know the pattern of this game, you have to learn the pattern. If you don't know the pattern, you're fucked. Definitely fucked. Okay? You're going to pretty much die. So the thing of it is when you try over and over again, learn the pattern of how to jump and when to jump, whether you go turn the left side or the right side, you have to know that, because they're gonna randomly spring it on you in the later stages. So I plan to do a no death run in this game. This is definitely a game that you want to speed run, because that's all you do in this game is run. So I believe definitely look pretty sexy to do a speed run in this game, and I will attempt to do a speed run through the entire game with no deaths. Of course, this is how I roll. No deaths, no mistakes. So I'm going to completely make a run of this game, and then you will definitely see how difficult it gets as you proceed through the stages. But nostalgic. Probably the fourth game that I played and was able to play through as a kid. So if you don't have this in your title, this is actually a pretty rare game. I don't see this game everywhere. I've actually happened to go to a flea market and find this game. I was like, wow, I haven't seen this game in over 25 years. And when you go to the stores, even back in the day, just like Kid Icarus, you never found this game on the shelf at all. Never found it. This was actually a rare title. But I'm glad to have actually walked by and is able to find this game. And I'm going to bring you guys a speed run of this game so that you can see exactly how tough it gets. Alright, let's move on. Alright, we're saving the best for last. I know everybody knows what this title is here. Need I say more? Can I say Metroid? Wow. Lots of memories with Metroid. Lots of memories. Now, I just recently picked up this game. Recently, from RU Game. I was actually searching for this game. It seems like the price has gone up. The thing of it is this is actually, I know a lot of you people are looking at the picture and saying, this is not the picture that I remember on Metroid. Oh, and you're right. You're totally right. No, it's not. This is not the original black box pic on the front cover. This is not the original. This is actually the classic series, like a re-release classic series of Metroid, to where they did an improvement on the box art. This is actually a re-release of Metroid classic series. I don't know if you guys ever notice when a game has been out for a while, and they put on the label as far as the greatest hits series. So let's just say this is a greatest hits type of deal here. This is the reason why the picture's different. This is a classic greatest hits series, but this is actually the same game. This is the same game as the original black box title, black box picture. The very same game. The game is not changed. There's no changes in this game. It's just a classic series, an update, and the probably greatest hit series. So, you know, definitely the same game though. This is all the same. Nothing different, nothing updated, nothing added. The same game. Just a different box art picture. But I remember having this game as a kid. The very first time I seen Metroid was at a Play Choice tin that I found in a U-Save in my neighborhood. They had the Play Choice tin. Actually, Contra was another game that was in there. Contra, Super Mario Brothers, this game, and Contra. This was the very first time I seen Metroid on the Play Choice tin. Absolutely fell in love with this game when I seen it for the first time at the Nintendo Choice 10. Actually popped in, every time I go there, I pop in a quarter, I start playing Metroid, I play through the first stage, I play through the second stage. Just a great, memorable game. Great memorable game this was. Great memorable game. I remember when I rented this game. I rented this game afterwards a couple times. Played it. I actually didn't beat the game until I became an owner. I remember when we was going to church over in went out of town to go to church in Lakeland. I actually found this game at Toys R Us for $29.98. Can you imagine finding this game back then for $29.98? That was actually a cheap price for a game back then. I say, Mom, look, it's $29.98. My mom bought the game for me, brought it home. I remember we was actually staying over in Lakeland so that we can go to the second service of church. I remember being very excited to get home to play this game. So we went to church, we left church, came home, and right when we got from church, I was ready to play this game. I didn't get a chance to really play it a lot on the first day because it was a school night, and of course tomorrow was Monday. I had to wait till I get home from school to even get a chance to really get into the game. But when I did get home from school, I thought about it all day in class. Man, I can't wait to get home so I could play Metroid. Got home, did my homework, and came right straight to this game and started playing it. Wow, great, incredible times. Metroid will always be in my heart. Metroid has always been in my heart. Metroid is still going strong today. Matter of fact, I own a lot of Metroid titles. I own now that I own this one. This is the original title. I love the Metroid Prime games on the GameCube. I actually own Metroid 1, Metroid Prime 2, and even the third title on the Wii that came out on the Wii. I own all of those Metroid titles, even on the the dual screen titles, the DS titles. I have Metroids on the DS titles. I have a lot of different franchise of Metroid. I just recently bought the Metroid The Other M. Metroid is just one of those games that I love, besides Contra, besides the Mario series, Mega Man series. Metroid was one that I love and cherish very dearly. Going strong today, the franchise is still going strong today, and hope to see a new Metroid game on the Wii U. Yes, Nintendo, you have to give us a Metroid title on the Wii U, so I will be patiently awaiting that title to come out on the Wii U. Metroid, you can't go wrong with that. Metroid is the most nostalgic, great titles there is today, and it's been great for my childhood. Incredible game mechanics. It's got sort of an arcade, I mean not arcade, but a RPG feel to it. You know what I mean? Where you can visit previous stages to get power-ups, to be able to go to a different stage. It's just a great, incredible game. I beat this game over and over and over and over again. You can't go wrong with this game. Memorable musical score and everything. So, alright, here we go. I know everybody recognizes this cartridge here. Need I say more? Wow. This is Trade West Battletoads. One of the toughest, roughest NES games of all time. I remember playing this game, renting it for the very first time from the Affordable Video. Definitely very pleased with this game. It's a 2-player game. I used to play this with my brother and my sister. And we used to seriously play this game all the time. But I definitely remember, we all remember this game for its rough and difficult gameplay. I remember tackling that infamous the turbo tunnel, to where you have to definitely test your reflexes, and your reflex definitely has to be on point when it comes to getting past the infamous turbo tunnel. Very tough. I did actually manage to finish and get past the turbo tunnel. But, you know, I think I reached, I believe I reached level 5 in this. I wasn't able to get past that, you know, after, you know, battling, getting through that as a kid. I had to, you know, return this game to the store and never rented it again. I'm not sure why I didn't rent this game again. I wasn't sure why I haven't rented this game again, but still a nostalgic game, a great game. I actually haven't played this game since 1991. This game was released in 1991. One of the games that I rented, even after getting my Sega Genesis, I still went out and rented this game so that I could play it with my sister and my brother. Great co-op sort of beat 'em up game, and was just a blast. Still, you know, regardless of it being so hard, this game was an absolute blast. I never did finish this game, unfortunately, but definitely I am attempting to do a no death in this game. I've actually, don't say that it couldn't be done. I've actually had people say that it could not be done. I've actually looked on YouTube and just witnessed some really impressive, an impressive no-death run of this game, where the guy ran completely through this game without a scratch, and it was impressive. So it is possible to go through this game with no death. It's absolutely possible, and I believe I can achieve that, and I'm going to definitely do my own no-death run of this game. Complete run. I've never beat this game as a kid, keep in mind. I've never beat this game. I've never even got past even the 5th stage. So it's going to be a task to even try to finish this, you know. Now I consider myself much more skilled player than I was as a kid, so I don't believe that it's absolutely impossible to beat this with no death run. So I'm going to attempt to bring y'all that no death run of this game, maybe even do a commentary of it, which makes it twice as challenging because now I have to be talking through the entire run, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But I just recently actually picked up this title. This was actually a very expensive game online. I've looked online for it. I was actually fortunate to come by and find RU Game, you know, putting this game out, and I was like, hey, you know, I gotta have that game. I don't have this game in my collection, so I have to get it. So I grabbed it, and it's part of my collection now, probably one of the newer additions to my collection. But how about we review this game a little bit? Great graphics in this game. I was actually really impressed of the graphics of this game to be such an NES game. Incredible musical score. Definitely great musical score this game has. Incredible boss fights. Everything incredible. This game is intense. If you've ever played this game and got it to the further stages, very intense. The further you get in this game, the more intense this game gets, and it is intense. So, doing a no-death run of this is going to be a lot of fun. It's definitely going to be a huge test to my skills, I definitely would say. But love this title. Great to grab a friend, duke it out, test your, your teamwork, and this will definitely put your teamwork to a test because. And for the simple fact that you can't hit each other in this game is actually one of the most frustrating things about the co-op part of it, about the two-player part of it. I would definitely complain about that, but still a blast, still a fun, knocking those guys out, hitting them with the huge fist of the feet, which I thought was hilarious back then. But great times with this, besides it being very, it's supposed to be one of the most difficult games out there. Still a great and memorable title that I played as a kid. But it's going to be fun running this game and reviewing it, and definitely looking back and going back to really good times in my life as a kid playing these games and living in my own fantasy world above everything else around me. It's just part of the greatest times and the greatest moments in my childhood. So it's going to be an honor to definitely finish this, flawlessly finish this. One of the best, probably the best titles of Trade West besides Double Dragon. The first Double Dragon being my favorite of the Trade West, and this game was actually a blast. The TV, I don't know if you people remember, it came out with a TV show actually in 1991, their own TV show, which I was not a fan of for some reason. The Battletoads cartoon just was not great for me, but it was great to be able to watch that show along with playing this wonderful and awesome game. And the game is definitely made up for what the show didn't. But still a great and memorable title, I might add. And the last boss in this game happens to be a girl, female, which I was, she's not exactly, getting to her is tough. She's not going to be the challenge. Getting through this entire game is going to be the utmost and memorable challenge of my life, and I'm going to have a lot of fun doing that. But great and nostalgic title, and I am absolutely glad to have this in my collection. Musical score awesome, gameplay awesome. I believe the stages are probably like 9 to maybe to 10, maybe to 1 from 1 to 10 to 12 stages long. It's pretty lengthy game, but it's going to be a lot of fun finishing this. Great and awesome title. Battletoads from Trade West. Gotta have that in your collection. Alright, let's go ahead and move on from this. Here is one for your eyes. I remember in my last video, this is Tecmo's Ninja Gaiden 3. Take a look at this right here. The Ancient Chip of Doom. I don't know if any of you got into the third game. As a kid, I briefly did. I briefly got into the third game. This is probably one of the tougher games. Even might be tougher than the first. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. The first is tough, but this one is definitely tough. I'm planning to do a no death run in this also, and doing a run in the entire series, the first, the second, and the third. I remember in my first video, I did not have this game in order to show to you guys. I just recently picked this game up from RU Game. I've been looking for this game. Absolutely outrageous price online to buy this game. But, you know, even though I found this game at a very decent price, it was still a little on the pricey side. This is probably the most expensive NES game that I've ever paid for. But I had to have this in my collection. I wanted to have this to complete my Ninja Gaiden collection. And now I have it. So this will definitely be a great addition to my collection. Awesome and nostalgic music. The graphics in this was absolutely great. The storyline in this, absolutely great. I was actually surprised about some of the storyline. I'm not going to tell you anything about the storyline because I don't want to spoil it for people who has never played this title. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut about the storyline. Okay? And we're just going straight into the review. Great and nostalgic and awesome music. The music a little bit, to me, it's a little toned down from the first two titles. The music to me is okay. Not as great as the first or the second, but still Ninja Gaiden great. Still a great title. Definitely the challenge has gotten tougher. Definitely. Boss fights awesome, the same as ever. You know, still a great musical score and great overall game. Very rare this is. I gotta find a way to get that off. Very rare and very great to have and add to my collection. Now that I have all of the Ninja Gaidens, it'll be an honor to review and run this game. Just great, awesome. The art here is pretty cool. Not as good as I kind of like the art on the second game better, but this is exceptional. This is pretty cool. You know, I guess you can say that. But it's still Ninja Gaiden nonetheless. It's still a great Ninja Gaiden title. And it will definitely challenge you. So I'm looking forward to doing the run and showing y'all this great, nostalgic, and awesome game. I believe this game was released in 1991, right after the second title. I mean, a year after the second title. So, still great. You know, it wasn't a lot of time put in this. You know, they thought that they just had to throw another sequel out there quickly, you know, so that they can continue the great and awesome sales of this game. But still a great game, still a awesome title of the 90s, and I would definitely recommend it. You get hold of this game if you don't have it. But just expect it when you find this game to pay at least maybe $30 to $40 for it, because it is rare. You're not going to find it everywhere, but I think it's worth having in your collection to complete the great series of Ninja Gaiden, Tipmost Ninja Gaiden. Alrighty, well, let's move along. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is going to be the last and final title of this part 3. Stay tuned for part 4, where I can show the other. I just showed you the left side of my games. I'm going to show you the right side of that games that I have in the barrel. And it's truly have lots of awesome titles await, and lots of reviews await in the fourth video. But this was going to be the final game that I'm going to review for this video. So now let's get into the review of this great early title of Capcom. We got here Commando from Capcom, as you can see. As you can see, we look like we went back to the early design of the title. So that's pretty much saying that this is an early Capcom title at the time. To me, this title, Commando, it's okay. It kind of, for some reason, I seem to get this mixed up with Ikari Warriors. It's a toss between Ikari Warriors. And let's see what else. And Mercs. To me, it reminds me of those two great titles. You know, one title from SNK, which is Ikari Warriors, and one title from Capcom. Just great titles. Mercs, one of my most favorite arcade games there is. And to me, this game sort of reminds me of it. This game is okay, I would definitely say. I don't like it. To me, I like this a little bit better than Ikari Warriors. To me, the first Ikari Warriors was okay. It's a pretty much okay game. But, you know, Commando was definitely, I like Commando better than the Ikari Warriors. Even though they look so much alike and they seem so much alike, Commando was great. Commando's a very hard game. As a kid, I don't think I ever finished Commando as a kid. But I definitely have to say, still a nostalgic game. Still awesome. I believe it's a 2-player title. I actually picked this up from RU Game. This is actually impressively pretty clean, and I'm happy about that. Shouldn't cost you no more than $2 or $3, you know, to get. But still great Capcom title, Commando. And the art seems to be pretty pretty plain. Destroy the enemy army? I guess so, right? Yeah. But anyways, this is just not so much to say about it. Great game. Military game, military shoot 'em up. And definitely awesome times back in the 80s playing this game with my sister and my brother. Definitely. Alrighty, this is going to do it for part 3 of my video. Stay tuned for part 4, where I'm definitely going to show you the other half and the second barrel of my games. A lot of awesome titles await, to where I could definitely show you my collection, and that's still pretty much growing strong. There's still a lot of titles that I'm awaiting to collect, and when I get those titles, I will definitely do an update from these videos to show you exactly the new additions to my collection. And I'm going to actually collect every great game there is to up my collection and just make it a great and memorable one, to have it at my disposal, to where I can definitely go back and play great games from my childhood. Just doesn't get any better than that, boys and girls. Just doesn't get any better than that. So I'm going to leave you guys for now with Commando from Capcom. And keep in mind, you guys, just always respect the classic. These are the games that we grew up with. These are the games that's got a lot of the games that's out nowadays. This is where everyone pretty much have started, and these games deserve the utmost respect, and I will always respect and always cherish the times that I've played these games. And I'm glad to actually have great titles in my disposal now, and I look to have even more great and memorable titles at my disposal to share with the world. No Death Run review, and bring you every great game from the past. You know, of course, there's going to be some, you know, we can't have great games without having probably the most awful games, but still, it's part of being a reviewer. I'm going to review every game, whether it's good or bad, and it's going to be memorable times, and I'm glad to be able to bring you back to probably the most nostalgic and wonderful time, and golden time in gaming, period. So yes, we're going to leave you here, and just stay tuned for my next my next video of the segment, part 4. So, boys and girls, continue to keep it retro. Happy gaming, and yes indeed, as I said before, I will see you in a bit. Thank you for watching and giving me your time. Thank you. Keep it retro.